Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining today's video. This video is going to be a very quick one, and my focus is to give my audience a very high-level overview with 21R1 GA release that came in April. So once again, my name is Vani Mishra. I'm Director of Product Management with Urban Data Modeling team. And let's get started with what exactly the top highlights of this release that is in so much in the news. First one is the modeling productivity that we have added with the product line. We will see the property pane has been added on. We have also made some changes to forward engineering and reverse engineering screen. We definitely gave a big support for Data Vault 2.0. We'll see how that works. And the biggest news of 21R1 release is giving NoSQL, full support to NoSQL databases, that is including MongoDB, Cassandra, Couchbase, and giving JSON and Avro as a file structure. We continued our support for Oracle 12c, 18c, and 19c. Oracle is a very huge community for data modeling. So, and 21c. So Oracle support, we keep on increasing the support for Oracle. And then we also made a huge change in the MART. The entire UI has changed. The end user experience will change with the new UI. And we made MART independent of Erwin DM. So when you are upgrading DM 21R1 to 21R2 and you already have 21R1 MART in your machine, you don't have to upgrade the 21R2 of MART. They are not going to be dependent on. You don't have to plan and get your resources and get the more strategic upgrades. It's always been in the pane. That independent behavior is going to continue. The last but not least, we also did partnership with Microsoft Common Data Models, which will give our common data, Microsoft Data Lake users to get their common data models based on different verticals. You can reverse engineer those models. We already have out of the box, actually. Those models, when you install Erwin 21R1 in your machine, you can install Microsoft Common Data Models, and then you can open those Erwin models based on Common Data Models, and you can view those, and it gives you a jump start. It gives you a industry-wide standard that you can work on it, whether it's a banking or you have retail models, or if you want to have a sales model or as a very common customer model. You have your data dictionary ready to go, your business glossary ready to go. You have table comments, definitions, attribute column definitions, all in those models in the common data model of Microsoft. So that's something, if you would like, if you're interested in, you can install it with DM21R1. So without any further ado, I would like to give you a feel of how this 21R1 looks like. So let's get in, let me launch DMR1 here. So I would like to start the program, and you will see the reason I'm starting from the scratch, so you guys can see exactly what changes have been made. The behavior is going to be same whether it says NoSQL or SQL. You will, so this is a landing page you will notice with 21R1. The landing page has a couple of basic options. You can create your model, you can run a complete compare with your model, your recent files, tools. You can schedule a reverse engineering or a complete compare. You have your reference files that release notes and all technical support that you can you can view it. Let's focus on NoSQL today with this quick video, quick educational video. So I'm going to show you a quick reverse engineering against MongoDB. So if you're a NoSQL audience and you're interested in how that works, you will notice that all the NoSQL or relational databases are listed right here. Avro is here, Couchbase, Cassandra. So I will get into JSON or MongoDB. So for this demonstration, I'm taking Mongo. Whether it's a Mongo in the cloud or you have a local install of Compass, you can do that. Both will work. And you want a logical physical model or just a physical model in my case, and I will reverse engineer a database or script. So now you can see the reverse engineering screen has changed. Now let's get into connection box. I can connect to a local host, as you can see, or I can connect to my cloud instance. So I have the connection string described here, and I will connect to the URL, and it's connected. The biggest change we have made with this design, any database, whether it's Oracle or SQL Server or NoSQL database, it will allow you, after you are connected to the database, it will allow you, if it's a database, your schemas, based on your roles, what kind of access you have, how many databases access you have. You can pick and choose those databases, or owner name in Oracle case, you can pick and choose. You do not have to run a complete compare to pick and choose a particular database instance. So here in this case, let's say if I select sample restaurant or Airbnb, let's pick Airbnb for now. I select Airbnb as a database to view, and then I would like to see the collections for NoSQL and documents, number of documents in that. So let's view that. And you can see that under the Airbnb, I have a collection name, listing and reviews, very similar to table name. And I have 5,500 documents in there, correct? And I can select those documents. This is very interesting scenario, especially for creating a schema out of the NoSQL, because NoSQL has a nested structure which can have your group, pair value instance, you have objects, you have arrays, and it can be, there's no level, it can be as deep as you want. So what we are giving our audience here, that either they can run a deep search and get the best of their schema across this, in this particular case, across that 5,500 documents I have, or I can say that DM can run a query sequentially, first 5 documents, or randomly the best of 5. So you can either go deep search and get 5 sequential. I can make this as 50. I can say no count. I would like to generate those number of documents, 1% of 5,000, something like that. So you can define and get the best of this is a very common question I've been asked. What is the best way to get the best schema structure of NoSQL? In that case, you would like to run the deep search. So that might be time consuming. You want to try sequence, see how the results come, or random. And depending on that, you can say that which kind of recursive collection search you would like to run. So in this particular case, for the time save purpose, I'm just going to say, give me the first 4 document count based on the best sequential based, and whatever the schema structure it comes. And then further, if I go, it's going to go through the database, all the collection I have. In this case, I have just one collection. Detail option is in there. It's very similar to what we have seen before in earlier releases. And the scheduler is reverse engineering schedule. I can scheduler where I can reschedule it for some future time. So let's say if I run that, it will take a very quick go through the 5,500 documents, and it will give me quickly the first 5 or 4 that I have defined, and it's going to show me, let's make the display as a grid Y, show me the data type, right? And I can also see the null if I want something like that. It's going to show me. So here is, I have my object data types on the table itself. The reason I picked this particular example, because it's just one table, it's kind of easy to focus. I will pick something else which has more tables, more than one. Then you can see here amenities has array. Underneath that you have string. So you can visually see the document itself, right? You can identify array as an object right from the diagram. The other way to look at the details is if you go under table property or collection properties, and in the field property, if you go, you will see field properties right here. You can select, you can see that it's a string value, And if I look at here, this is an array with the open brackets, and then you have the other values inside. You can look at the comment section and so on. So this is where, just very similar to common column editor, you can describe your object property. And the second thing you can also view is a collection property, just like table property. And especially for MongoDB, you want a schema editor, schema validator, table level validation rules, you can define it. If you would like to see the indexes, if this particular one has any indexes, you can get to the index property. And the most interesting thing is, now if I select it, we also added a object browser property pane here, right here, where you can see the listing and reviews. I can, right from the screen, I can get into object editor. I can get to index editor right here. I don't have to go on each window through a property pane. I can view all that. If I go into this particular review and index, I can see that ID is the member and it is in ascending order. If I would like to create something new, let's say if I make it non-unique, I can select which member I would like to choose as a column for that index, ascending or descending order, what kind of index property I want. It is going to be text, 2D, hashed, or whatever. So everything is right from the screen. So you can select those. There's another update that we made is object count. So this object count comes very handy, whether it's a relational model, nothing to do with the NoSQL. You will be able to see, in my case, one collection. But let's say if I reopen eMovies, a simple model where I see a total number of entities 9, subject area 4, and then key groups and everything is on this side. And on the property window, you'll be able to see the model property at this point. But if I select one particular table, you will be able to see that as well. This is a logical physical. Now it's a perfect scenario to move to our next topic. If I have a relational model, how I can convert that into NoSQL model. Okay, in order to convert that NoSQL model, we have added denormalization normalization, and you can see it has been grayed out. I'll show you how that works. If I change the schema to, target database to SQL, this is presently in SQL Server. So I will change it to Mongo, for instance. There are two options. I can let DM do the algorithm and decide it auto denormalization for you. And we have auto denormalization, the logics written for you, where the tool itself is going to decide whether it's a one-to-many relationship, it's going to turn them into array, and if it's one-to-one, it's going to turn them into object. So if the tool does that job, this is how say no. For the time's sake, I'm just gonna say no reporting to show. And you will see out of my 9 tables, the object converted, the total collection is converted to 4. I still have the same subject area, but different tables. So now if I zoom on a particular one, let's say if I zoom on movie here, if I zoom on movie, you can see I have collection, fill data type here, and you can see which is array, how it's converted into each individual array or object. So the same eMovies, which was a relational model, I can get into collections property, or I can get into store property. Or there is another feature, which is very popular feature. It's called object editor, which will allow, object browser. That's the one I would like to go. Object browser, which will show, this is, I personally call it a data dictionary kind of a screen, where I can see all my tables, columns, small analytical done for it, all my indexes, names, and not only that, I can also see the SQL. It's a view purpose, but we can also see here a generate report option. So once I see my data dictionary, my entire list of tables and columns, or based on a particular subject area, I can narrow it down and then export that to PDF file. That is one feature. Now, how about if I do not run a auto denormalization, I would like to manually do that, how that works. So I'm going to close this window quickly. and I would like to show you a eMovies very quick. This is still a relational model, and if you would like to manually do the auto denormalization, still you can do it. I'm going to change my physical model here. Target database, let's change it to Mongo one more time. And at this time, what we'll do, we'll uncheck the Mongo auto denormalization. Check it. I want the report. And let's say customer, all information about customer and customer credit, I would like to put that, denormalize it in one table. So the denormalize section comes in. I will say that everything move to customer table and move all the details from customer credit. I have, again, the same logic. Do you want to embed it as auto, or you would like to merge that as an array or object? It's completely up to data modeler. I'm doing it automated here. I'm taking it as auto. And now you will see there was an auto cleanup option, which I said once you embed it, the embedment is done, you will be able to see here. You will be able to see the customer credit. It is an array, and the customer credit auto cleanup cleaned it up by default. You don't have to worry about it. So that part is done. So denormalization and auto denormalization work in the same way. You would like to keep it manual, or you would like to do automation. It's up in your control. Now, let's say if I would like to generate a schema out of it, NoSQL schema, it's pretty simple. Forward engineering UI has changed, but you will be able to see collection filter. You have all the tables, and you will be able to see the preview options. So the logic of old release is exactly the same. You will see the UI has changed, and based on your NoSQL, based on your target database, you will be able to see the result set. The last piece I would like to cover, pre-data vault. How does that work? The data vault methodology is, you have to make that data vault methodology enabled, and that is under the model options. If you go to model properties and you go to under general tab, you will say, I would like to make this model as a data vault. The minute that we convert that to check this checkbox, we have on the Explorer window, we have a Data Vault 2.0, and you will see all the components of a Data Vault: hub, link, point infant table, reference table, satellite table, all are enabled at this point. If I convert manually, I will go in this table, and let's say this table property, I would like to convert this table to a hub or something, I can do that. What exactly that happens? What is the automation behind it? So if I choose something as hub, with this methodology, we are giving our customer all the data vault's basic standards behind it. So you have the hub, a blue color. We are giving you a component of prefix, your suffix, and these three columns that hash keys, load date, date time, records source data. All that will be converted, and it will be available to you by default. If you want any component that in your organization is default for any table, you can use that as well. So that's pretty easy to create a data vault model. The same model I'll show you. This is it's a relational data vault model, but data vault has not been implemented. And I have another model which implements data vault, the same model, and you can see here the same model. I did the conversion. If I go into hub employee table, I will see the hub employee, all the general text, and then if I go into column property, I will be able to see the hash keys, loading date, resource, all the details on the resource column here. And you can change if you would like to make a changes to the particular column name, you can always go and into the source table data vault, the default object property of that component, and you can make changes. So if you don't like the prefix the way we have, you can make those changes, so you don't have to stay with that. This is just a very quick high-level demo for 21R1. If you are migrating from earlier release, if it's you are on 2020 R2, you are earlier release than 2020 R2, how exactly the 21R1 is going to look like. It's very important. And I hope you enjoyed it. My goal is to give you more this kind of educational quick videos so you don't have to go through a lot of documentation. Give us more recommendation, what topic you would like to see. And thanks again for joining today's educational video with me.